Didn't see you there. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a second to just talk about physical activity without a gym. It's a common misconception that in order to be physically fit and physically active, that one needs, I don't know, some sort of gym or workout facility to go to. But that's simply not true. There's a lot of things you can do right here in the great outdoors to be physically fit and physically active, and you still get the same amount of health benefits. Here, let me take a second to tell you the ACSM guidelines for older adults. So, you're supposed to work out twice a week doing strengthening activities, 8 to 10 workouts for each of these, and 10 to 15 repetitions. But these workouts need to include all muscle groups. You need to work out your entire body. Now, pool workouts are a very popular form of doing bodyweight workouts. There's a lot of things you could do in there, but for a lot, they don't have access to a pool. So, for things like that, you could turn to bodyweight exercises such as push-ups, planks, sit-ups, crunches, you name it. But if you don't feel like doing that, feel like changing it up a little, you can use some external weights using light dumbbells or a light medicine ball. Here, let me show you how to perform some of these exercises. First, let's take a look at push-ups. So for push-ups, you're going to want to get onto the ground, hands shoulder width apart, legs straight, keep your abs tight. Now you're going to want to go down to the ground, touch your chest, and push back up. For some people, they have trouble with this, so you can just, instead of staying on your toes, you can go to your knees, still touch your chest to the ground though, and do the recommended 10 to 15 repetitions. So the next exercise, crunches, pretty basic. You're going to want to get your feet up, cross them, put your hands behind your ears, and squeeze up with your abs. You don't want to put any strain on your neck with this. Again, do the recommended 10 to 15 repetitions. So another way you can do with medicine balls are squats. You're going to want to hold it right out in front of you like this, feet shoulder width apart, and come down till your legs are parallel, and come back up. Once again, the recommended 10 to 15 repetitions. Another workout you can do is with kettlebells, shoulder press. You want to take the weights, put your hands like this, come up at the exact same time. These are very similar to dumbbells and will give you the same amount of workout as dumbbells. Last workout, we're going to go over planks. Again, a similar position as a push-up, but instead, go to your forearms. Clasp your hands together, and keep your body straight. You're going to want to hold this position for about 30 seconds to a minute to get the maximum effectiveness of it.
It's important for everyone to remain physically active throughout their lifetime. The health benefits of physical activity and exercise are beyond comprehensive, and there's truly nothing like it. In fact, Dr. Robert Butler, the founder of the National Institute of Aging, is quoted in saying, "If exercise could be packed into a pill, it will be the single most widely prescribed and beneficial medicine in the nation." Some of these benefits include better weight management, increased mood and mental health, better sleep, and reduced risk of numerous cancers and chronic diseases, which include diabetes and cardiovascular disease, which older adults are especially at risk for.
Okay, so the ACSM guidelines recommend that older adults engage in 30 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity for at least 5 days out of the week, so 150 minutes in total. Some examples of moderate intensity activity could be like walking at a brisk pace or doing water aerobics exercises. They could also include activities of daily living, such as gardening or cleaning the house. In addition to that, they could perform vigorous intensity activity for 20 minutes on at least 3 days out of the week, so 60 minutes in total. Some examples of vigorous intensity activity could be like jogging or running, biking, or taking an aerobic stance class such as Zumba or Jazzercise. The two intensities can also be combined in order to meet the requirements, so it's important to realize that there are options.
Luckily for us, there are numerous aerobic exercises that don't need to take place in the gym. For instance, one could go for a walk or run just about anywhere, like in a public park or a neighborhood. Also, if a bike is available, biking is an excellent aerobic activity which places less stress on the joints and bones than a lot of other activities. This may particularly benefit older adults with issues such as arthritis and osteoporosis. Along with that, cross-country skiing is a great option for those who can withstand the colder temperatures. Some easy-to-do home aerobic exercises might include side-lying hip circles, wall push-ups, step-ups, and chair squats. One easy at-home aerobic activity one can participate in is a side-lying hip circle. First, you want to put your hand down with your head on your palm and have your left leg or your bottom leg slightly bent and your top leg straight, aligned all the way up to your shoulders. Then you want to get used to this motion up and down and make sure that your foot is relaxed, as you want to feel it around here and not in your calves, because if your foot's tight you're going to feel it in your calf. Next, you want to start incorporating the circle in a counterclockwise or clockwise motion. And then after that, you want to go back the other way, depending on what you started with. Do these for 30 seconds each, as it'll improve your strength and flexibility. Another easy to do at-home aerobic exercise is a chair squat. This will strengthen your ankle all the way up to your back if you do this activity correctly. So first, you want to try to get a chair that doesn't roll, but since I'm on a carpet, it doesn't really go back that much. But you want to sit, you want to stand like this with your face straight up, go straight down, touch your butt on the chair, and go straight up. You want to make sure you keep all this straight, as straight as possible, and push through your feet, through the floor, straight up. So this is how it's going to look if you do it correctly. You want to do it as many times as you can. Don't overdo it. Just go like that. Don't touch your knees. Just tap your butt on the chair. Keep your heels on the ground. Face forward. Try to keep everything aligned. It's an easy at-home exercise that you can do with just a chair.
Guidelines mention recommended exercise that increase one's flexibility, another factor that tends to decrease with aging. In particular, they recommend that adults perform flexibility exercise at a minimum of 2 days out of the week for 10 minutes each. Fortunately, flexibility exercises are especially easy to perform outside of the gym. Examples of exercises could be static stretching various parts of the body, dynamic stretching, and yoga. Some common yoga poses include the downward facing dog, the child's pose, and the cobra, one which we will get into after this. One yoga pose that we will get into is the downward facing dog. At first, you start with your knees on the ground, approximately shoulder width apart, bend forward, and have your hands, palms on the ground, about shoulder width apart too. And maybe a little more. Now we push on our hands, push on our toes, and the purpose of it is to get your heels touching the ground. Now my flexibility isn't that great, so my heels aren't exactly touching the ground, but the purpose is to push on your heels so that they touch on the ground, stretch through your body so your butt is poking up in the air, and have your hands flat on the ground. That is the downward facing dog yoga pose.
So the ACSM also recommends that older adults engage in balance exercises, especially since they are at a greater risk of falls and the injuries that may come as a result of those falls. So these exercises are supposed to take place on at least 3 days out of the week. Fortunately enough, there are many that you can do from home, and you can also modify those exercises to match your abilities. So some examples might include some body weight exercises like lunges or squats. And there are also certain yoga poses that are supposed to help with your balance, like the tree pose, for instance. Okay, so as I said before, lunges are a great body weight exercise that one can do to improve their balance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you step by step through a standard lunge, and I'm also going to introduce a few modifications in case you want to make it a little more difficult for yourself. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start out with our feet shoulder width apart. What you're going to do is you're going to step out with one foot, making a 90-degree angle right there. And you're going to tap your other knee on the ground lightly and bring it back up. So you're going to switch feet, do the same exact thing. Do that a couple times. Like I said, that's a little too easy for you. What I like to do is I like to incorporate a little twist in my torso. So I'll show you how that's done. So you're going to do the exact same thing again. Do that, but when you're down here, you're going to twist your torso to the left, to the right, and bring it back up. See that again. Left, right, and back up. Okay, so one other thing that you can do is you can add a little bit of weight to the exercise. So what I like to use is dumbbells, but you can just as easily use medicine balls or whatever you have handy. So, pretty simple. Grab both of your hands and do the exercise. You can also do a couple curls if you'd like. And that just makes it much more difficult and improves your balance that much more. So that's how it's done.
I want to thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have the opportunity to try some of these activities and spread the word that you don't need a gym to get some exercise in.